Hi, I'm Brian Levy. I am the Chief Relationship Officer for Manchester Living and the host of the Manchester Living podcast. The podcast is to help people navigate the complex maze of elder care. Today, we're going a little bit off the rails. I have two friends of mine who are retirees. We're talking about retired with purpose. But first, we're going to show a quick clip about the unintended undercover boss. This is 100% authentic. It actually happened. Let's roll the clip.
I got stuck at the middle of that place. It was horrible.
Addie Shepard is describing where she was last week during an early, icy North Texas morning on her way home.
I stayed there and just started praying, for help.
Her car had spun out and she couldn't get it to move.
It was dangerous because I was in the middle of the road.
Adam Lampert found himself in the middle of a similarly icy situation.
I quickly found out just rolling out of my driveway. I slid out of my driveway.
Lampert wanted to see how bad the roads were before starting his workday.
I was ascertaining that it was not a good day to be out.
That's when Lampert found a car stuck in the road near his home.
I helped her navigate her car to move to a side street, and I drove her to her job.
But on his way back home, he found a second car stuck in the same spot. So he helped again.
And I said, are you okay? And she said, well, not so much. Here I am stuck.
That driver was Addie Shepard.
He came by me. He held my hand. He was even protecting me so that I don't fall.
But as Lampert helped get Shepard off the ice and drove her home, a detail about Shepard caught him by surprise.
I didn't realize he did like this. That was what it's like.
Shepard is a caregiver for Cambridge Caregivers in Dallas. Lampert is the CEO of Cambridge Caregivers.
It was a godsend. I think he have a good heart. That's what I know.
It really heightened my awareness of what my own staff at Cambridge do on a daily basis.
It was a small deed for a woman doing important work, one that created a friendship these two never expected.
So for that, Adams, I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I say thank you.
My favorite story. I've never seen Adam cut lemons, but I know he's a really good cook. Let's jump in today. On the episode, we're talking to Mark Lewis, concierge and companionship caregiver with Cambridge Caregivers. Mm-hmm. Thanks for being here. Bobby Goodman, ambassador for Cambridge Caregivers. All right, Brian. This is going to be a little different than most episodes in that I'm going to ask questions to one and then I'm going to move on to the other, but I hope it flows. Episode 50, here we go. Bobby, getting to know you. Share a bit about yourself. Who are you and what was your career journey before this chapter?
I'm a Dallas native. I was born and bred in Dallas. I always say my dad was living to be 105 years old, and he was born in Dallas. So we really have long, strong roots in Dallas, Texas. As far as my journey, I went to St. Mark's School here in Dallas. I graduated in 1978 from the University of Texas and immediately joined the family business. We had a company called Goodies from Goodman. We were in the catering, gift, and floral business.
Iconic.
You really depended, really, didn't it? And we had multiple gourmet food stores, and I jumped right into that, loved it. And with my brother, we ran it for over 40 years. And about 7 years ago, actually to this month, we sold the business and I retired.
There you are. So how did your ambassadorship evolve? How did that happen from playing golf to all of a sudden you're an ambassador for Cambridge Caregivers? There's only so much golf you can play, right? Yeah.
Well, there's only so much golf you can play.
Yeah.
Really, my journey started really with that clip you just saw, the ice storm clip. I happened to I was at home and was reading the paper, and there's this article that caught my mind. It was talked about as CEO who was rescuing a person who had during this ice storm, and that person was Adam Lampert, and piqued my interest because I knew Adam Lampert from like 25 years earlier. We used to play a lot of basketball together, and but we hadn't seen each other in many, many years. And so like the clip, it just fascinated me. And I reached out to Adam, And I called him or sent him an email. I said, Adam, I just want to let you know how honored I am to know somebody like you who does such great deeds. And so Adam said, hey, let's get together and let's catch up. It's been so long. And so we went out and had lunch and caught up. And I learned a lot about his businesses. I only knew about the elder care homes at the time, the Manchester side, but I learned about what he was doing and how Cambridge Caregivers came about, and was fascinated. And during that, he says, you really need to have a meeting with my right-hand guy, you, Brian.
Me?
Yeah, absolutely. And so he coordinated this lunch, and you and I went out to lunch, as you recall. And I remember just staring at you and you're staring back at me like, what are we doing?
Why are we here?
Why are we here? Yeah, exactly. But one thing led to another. And actually during that lunch, I bet you 3 or 4 people had come up to me.
I recall.
And had said, hey, Bobby, what are you doing now? And they were referring to what am I doing now because of Goodies from Goodman. They had known me from, all those years with Goodies. And I would say things like, well, I'm playing golf. I'm kind of piddling around. And that was my answer. And I looked at you when they left and I said, I wish I had a better answer than that. But this happens to me every single day.
Right.
And
so you turn those interactions into something that's more gratifying?
Absolutely. So what I believe is that you went back to Adam and y'all kind of designed a role that would engage me and came back with this role called an ambassador. And I thought the name was fabulous. I thought the purpose was fabulous. And I was sold and jumping into it.
I appreciate that. It started out as you're going to be a walking billboard, but it's so much more than that. You are engaged with your day-to-day world, your friends, your family, people that you knew through business, that share their thoughts and their feelings and what's happening in their lives with you, and you can help navigate this stage of their lives as well. As an ambassador, what does that role mean to you here?
Well, it means a lot because it was very important to me to get involved when I got involved with someone or a company that I was doing good things, good deeds. I was helping someone in need. So that was really important to me. It also was very important that if I was going to represent someone, that they had to have the highest standard. They had to take the high road. They had to always do the right thing, because what's most important to me is my reputation. I've spent a lifetime working on my reputation and very proud of it. And I had to feel comfortable that whoever I got involved with would not blemish or tarnish that reputation. And I'll tell you, Cambridge has checked off all those boxes for me. I'm proud to be a part of the organization.
Well, we're proud to have you as part of the organization. And you're not just out in the field throwing business cards around. You come to our Tuesday staff meetings and you learn about the engagements and you know what's happening behind the scenes. And you're still here.
That I am.
That's wonderful. Finding purpose in your role, what values or passions were most important to you as you accepted the role? You mentioned about integrity, but as you are an extension of us when you're talking to your friends or people on the golf course, walk me through that.
Well, so, I love to play golf, and I go out and play with friends, but I have found myself now going out and finding people that I do not know, and I join their groups, and because I really believe that everyone out there is some sort of a prospect, that they have a loved one that has a need, or they know a friend that has a need, and they really don't know where to turn to. I feel passionate about talking about Cambridge because I see how they take care of things and how they take the high road. one of the things that really sold me on it, and I feel really comfortable when I'm out there with my friends, is the way they treat and take care of their own employees. Really said a lot to me about how they take the high road, how they do the right thing.
And when you say employees, you're talking about not just the senior leadership team at the office, but the 300 plus in the field.
Exactly. I'm talking about from the office to the caregivers. They're W-2s. They're not contractors.
Yeah.
They offered benefits. They're offered a 401k. It's like a different model than that you think of when you think of the caregiving business. And because the way they took care of all of their own, really, I knew then that if that's how they take care of their own, imagine how they take care of their clients.
Right.
And so when I'm out playing golf, I have the confidence that I can spread this word, because these are people who are in need, who have never entered this part of their life. This is all new to them, and they need somebody they can trust to confirm, like, which way should I go? I say,
Validate.
They validate.
Yeah.
They need validation. You're exactly right. And so really, my role really is, let me connect that person to a company that I really believe does the right thing and will take the high road.
Do you have any stories, or you've told me about people that you talk to, whether it's at Costco or on the golf course or wherever, that you never in a million years thought you'd be talking to that stranger? Any engagement like that you want to share?
Absolutely. So, as I've said, I love to play golf, and I do join groups that I don't even know who the people are, because I feel, like I said, it's everyone's a prospect. So I go out to the club, I join this group, I'm having great conversation, and it got around to, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm an ambassador for Cambridge. And of course, he didn't really know what an ambassador was. Yeah. But anyhow, we start talking about it. I tell him what I'm doing and who I'm with. And all of a sudden he says, oh my God, that's the same company that took care of my dad quite a few years back. And I was shocked, but I wasn't shocked, if you will. And so we're playing out of the blue. And he said, but you know what? I may have a need again. And my mom is now entering that time of her life when she needs some caregivers. And really, quite frankly, y'all were wonderful with my dad, but I didn't have a need for many, many years after that. So I've kind of forgotten about it, but I'm there again. And I am so glad that I ran into you, because I think we need to get back together.
I love it. There are no accidents in this world.
Absolutely not.
All right, on to Mark, my companionship concierge caregiver. Mark, tell me your story. Tell me about your journey and what experiences brought you to where you are today.
Sure. Well, I'm a native Houstonian. Houston's a great place to be from.
Welcome to the big city.
Thank you. I came to North Texas in '81, and listening to Bobby's story, actually, I went to high school at Kincaid and played St. Mark's in soccer frequently.
So, I was on the soccer team.
Well, we may have played, and also graduated from University of Texas. I graduated in '73.
Okay.
What brought me here is after about 40 plus years in technology sales, hardware, software, and services, and 8 years in consulting, I retired about 3 years ago. I had a couple of personal projects that I was working on, a major remodel of our home that took about 14 months. We never saw that. And a project at my house of worship in Arlington, where I was doing some upgrades, some security upgrades.
Yeah.
Ironically, both projects ended at the same time.
Timing is everything.
And here I was sitting in our new home in the living room with some friends going, oh, what do I do for the next chapter? And I had no clue, because I'd worked my whole life.
Right.
But as Bobby and I were talking about earlier, I knew what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be working in a corporation, with that sort of thing. But I wanted to give back. And my personal history was I spent about 30 years with Big Brothers Big Sisters on the board of trustees in Houston and in North Texas. And for 20 plus years had been a big brother. So I knew my background has always been giving back. And I've always found that when I give to something like that, I get so much more back. So it's, it's sort of a quid pro quo that's a plus plus on my side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in sharing that story with, well, ironically, your wife, Sandy, who's one of my wife's best friends,
Right.
talking about those kind of things, we were knocking around some ideas, and you came over to the house. I said, well, have you ever thought about driving? I went, driving, like, talking about Lyft or Uber, or is it not going to do it?
Right. But I had some good ideas.
You had some great ideas.
Right.
You had some great ideas. But again, I had figured out what I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I wanted a one-to-one relationship. And when I shared that with you, you
Light
said,
bulb went off.
light bulb went off with
Yeah.
you. And you said, hey, we've got something that we've just started to develop. Yeah. And you shared with me the story of your golfer client.
Right.
And I thought,
Real briefly, I had a client who his golf team had all moved on to the next journey of their lives, and he still wanted to play golf. And so we had a companionship caregiver take him to Topgolf every Saturday. And so that's when your light bulb
my light bulb went off, and I went,
So-
okay, so I need to find out more about Cambridge. You set me up with an interview. After that interview, I went through the orientation, which is standard orientation. And I'm learning all these things about how to take care of a patient. Well, again, I knew what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be a personal or medical caregiver in that respect of what your typical services are.
Right. And you talk about personal care, grooming, toileting, bathing. You want to be more of a companionship,
Exactly.
which we had availability for you.
Exactly. Well, so I went through training, went through my orientation on a Thursday. Friday morning, I got a call, and they said, we think we've got a client for you. And that was in March of 2024. And he and I have started off with just one day a week. That one day a week was typically running errands. That summer, his sons and his family, his son lives in Dallas and takes a lot of good care of his family there, Clayton and his wife. They were going out of the country for a month. And he asked me, would you mind picking up another day or two? And I went, no, that's fine.
Go through some of the daily activities that you guys do and how you manage the schedule or how the family manages that schedule.
Right. Well, my normal schedule with Clayton is 3 days a week from noon to 4. And sometimes we leave to go do something. Sometimes we'll sit and visit for 30 minutes or so. But it's the little things that, for me, have gone to building up trust both ways. So over this almost 1 year that I've been with my client, we've built up a trust that's more of a solid friend relationship. So the companion-client relationship obviously is there, the formal relationship,
Sure.
but wouldn't matter if it was there or not anymore.
Right. You have professional responsibilities in the relationship that he probably isn't even aware of, but that doesn't matter. You're still doing what you need to do to keep him healthy and safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as a result, what we get out of it, I've never come back from having an appointment, a session with Clayton, that we haven't thanked each other for a really great day.
Walk me through some of those days. What do you do?
We started off initially when it was just one day. After running errands and such, we might go to a museum, go to the Dallas Museum of Art, go to the Nasher, whatever. And it was something that was just, it was there. Easy. I could have a whole list of things to do. Well, after that, I worked through that list. It was like, okay, now I've got to get creative. So I'm doing it 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And so it went to things like, okay, I want to take him to the stockyards. Have you ever been to the stockyards? Well,
I think one of the things we like to do in engagements like this, in the past, I've put together activities calendars where a companion and the client will study reptiles on a Monday, and then Wednesday they'll go to the aquarium or studying Monet and then go to the museum. And so there's always something to learn and then an activity and something to look forward to. And I know as you continue with Clayton, you'll continue to keep it fun and spicy. On a personal level, when we talk about this, where does that hit you and how does it hit you?
at the end of the day, after he and I have spent anywhere from 4 to 6 hours together, Now, my time with him is supposed to be 12 to 4. But at the end of every one of our sessions, I know that I've tapped into something for him and given him a rekindling, if you will, of that independence, of that companionship, of friendship, like he may have gotten in business with his associates and such, and with his friends, that he doesn't have as much of anymore. And I'm getting the same thing. Because when I was in business for 40 plus years, I wasn't in the office. I traveled a lot, much the same way that Clayton did. We had a lot of commonality there. So when I had those relationships that I hadn't seen for a long time and rekindled them, as Bobby was talking about rekindling his relationship with Adam, there's a warmth that you feel that you've reconnected. Every time I'm with Clayton, it's like that connection becomes a little deeper and a little deeper. And probably the thing that I'm the most proud of is that I know his family sees me as a trusted companion.
Sure.
And one of the first things, in fact, on our very first day, we were out and Clayton said, if things continue to go this well, sooner or later, I'm going to consider you a member of the family.
Bobby, back to you real quick. What haven't I asked you that I should?
Well, I think a question about anyone who's approaching retirement or thinking of it, like what could the next stage be like? For me personally, I had a lot of fun. I was excited about being retired. For the first few years, I had fun. But then boredom set in. And I kind of wanted to find out, well, what's the next chapter like? Because every day can't be Saturday.
Is that when your wife put you on the curb?
That was right before. But every day can't be a Saturday.
Yeah.
And so, like Mark alluded to just a moment ago, I think it's really important if you decide you need to have purpose. You need to do something. There's got to be a reason every day. How much golf can you play, like we already said? So I really realized that as I wanted to do something, I couldn't figure exactly what that would look like. So I had to figure out what I did not want to do before I could figure what I wanted to do.
Sure.
I had to figure out, how do I have purpose? And really, there's no greater purpose when you can make lives better. And that's what we do at Cambridge. We make lives better.
I love that. Thank you. You're like an infomercial. This is wonderful. Now, I appreciate you saying that. And it is true. It's like, I always say, if it's called work, I don't want to do it. This doesn't feel like work. This is gratifying. You are a resource for the community and you're giving back. What could be better? Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Mark, what haven't I asked you that I should?
The thing a lot of people don't understand when they're in that caregiver companion position, or in the case of another job that I have that I work at, is calling on children in the cancer ward at a hospital. They know that I'm looking out for his needs at that point in time.
Spot on. Thank you for sharing that. To move on to the nugget portion of this 50th episode, I saw this on the interwebs and couldn't help myself. Every day count. Let's move on to the lightning round. This is an opportunity for viewers to get to know y'all personally, much more personally than companionship and ambassador. This is y'all. All right, you ready? We're going to start with Bobby, go to Mark in rotation. Bobby, where were you born and raised?
Dallas, Texas.
Mark.
Houston, Texas.
Bobby, college and degree.
University of Texas, BA in sociology.
Oh my goodness. Mark.
University of Texas, Bachelor's of Business Administration.
Bobby, first concert.
The Herman Hermits.
I thought you were going to say Mozart. Whoosh. Mark, what's your first concert?
My first concert was a Neil Diamond concert in Houston.
Bobby, worst modern invention?
Not sure. The NCA portal system.
Oh my goodness. Worst modern invention?
The internet.
Bobby, still in touch with childhood friends?
Every week.
Mr. Ambassador. Still in touch with childhood friends?
Some.
Bobby, dream job as a child?
Professional golfer.
Nice. Mark.
Pilot.
Bobby, favorite movie and genre?
Mystery drama.
Mark.
World War II movies, The Longest Day.
Bobby, can you change a tire?
No.
Can you change a tire?
Of course.
This is the best. Bobby, iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Android. Is there anything else?
God, just planning this episode, don't even get me started. Are you sentimental?
Yes, I
Are
am.
you sentimental?
And romantic.
I love that. Karaoke, yes or no?
No.
Absolutely.
Wow. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Of course.
Bobby, window or aisle?
Aisle.
Bart, aisle. Do you believe in aliens?
No.
Not lately.
And there you have it. Thank you both for being here. It's an honor and a pleasure to work with y'all, and I appreciate you coming on this episode to talk about purpose after retirement. Really an honor.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you for watching today, our 50th episode. If there is interest in watching this episode or any past episodes, you can find us on manchesterlivingpodcast.com, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your social media and podcasts. In closing, if there's ever anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out directly.